The U.S. Ambassador to South Africa, Mr. Patrick Gaspard, is with me in the studio. Good morning to you, Your Excellency.
Good morning, Tim. It's always great to be with the Power family.
And pleasure to have you with us in our studios this morning. Well, I always check American news and we talk about this, that. I was wondering, should we talk about Donald Trump? No. Should we talk about the wars? Think not. So at least an interesting, heartwarming story is that the American president's 23rd anniversary, wedding anniversary yesterday. And he's gone on Twitter as well to say 23 years and still going strong. Here's to many more.
Well, the president has me beat by 3 years in that regard. And happy anniversary to our first couple and those of us who have been blessed to spend any time with the president and with the First Lady know that is a genuine and enduring bond. They're just a wonderful family.
The First Lady did disclose, however, in the past that at one point she forgot their anniversary. I think it was their first anniversary. She said, I completely forgot.
Well, you know, there's a double standard there, Tim. Women are allowed to forget their anniversaries on occasion. You and I are never allowed to forget such things.
Yeah, and you worked with President Obama, right, as his political advisor in the past. Are you from the same place, Chicago?
No. I'm from the bigger city. I'm from New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're the second city, but yeah. I love Chicago, and I've been fortunate enough to know this president for a little bit more than a decade. Actually, it's been 11 years now.
Okay.
I worked as his national political director for his historic campaign in 2008, and I worked on the senior staff of the White House through the first term before arriving here in South Africa.
So what you do when you're a political director, you make sure he does not say all the wrong things. And Colin Barnett must talk to you and say, this take advice from. What do you do when you're a political director?
You know, it's not hard working for this president. He has a knack for, more often than not, saying and doing the right things. I was fortunate enough to have to help organize the massive movement for change that swept President Obama into office. And then once in the White House, we're focused on moving important domestic policy initiatives like health care reform, like saving of the automobile industry and our domestic economy, and issues that are just important to average Americans. So a great time. And, of course, played a role in our elections as well.
All right. We're going to talk about the Young African Leaders Initiative.
Wait, Tim, I thought you were going to ask me about the U.S. playing South Africa in the World Cup on Wednesday.
Well, it's a walkover. Not to us.
like when you play the Japanese cherry blossoms.
Well, that's how we see it. So for now, it's just a walkover. So
we're ready.
Please, Ambassador, I don't want to cause you any trouble and embarrassment here. I've got a lot of respect for you, as you know. So now. The one question I want to deal with before we talk about Young African Leaders Initiative is that there was an alert, security alert about South Africa that you issued to Americans living in South Africa and visiting the country. What happened to it? Do you ever lift it or you just left it there?
Well, Tim, you're right. There was an alert because we did receive information about, credible information, about intent to do harm to U.S. citizens, U.S. targets in South Africa. We are pleased that we received significant cooperation from the South African intelligence forces in that period and continue to do so. There's an ongoing investigation around that threat, and I'm not able to share all of the information except to say very serious and taken seriously by both nations. And in general, of course, we are just very pleased with the general cooperation, partnership, and the safety that American citizens have here in South Africa.
So it's not been lifted yet?
No, there's still a general advisory and ongoing investigation.
Let's talk about the Young African Leaders Initiative. It's now open. Young people have got to apply. I thought there was another way in which you recruited them into the program. So how does it work?
It's the most exciting thing. To date, there are over 500 young leaders from sub-Saharan Africa that have gone to the U.S., to some of our finest institutions, have then had summit meetings with President Obama, have returned to their countries, often with investment money, seed money, to move on projects in civil society, in public administration and government, and in the entrepreneurial fields as well. Right now, we have an open application period in South Africa. We're looking to double the number of participants. There have been over 90 South Africans who've participated in this effort. The applications are open until November 11th of this year. And if you go on to our website or go into youngafricanleaders.state.gov, that's youngafricanleaders as one word, .state.gov, you'll get a lot more information. It's a tremendous opportunity to network not only with Americans, but with the best and the brightest innovators throughout sub-Saharan Africa, and to come back here in South Africa and make lasting change.
And it's open to?
It's open to young leaders between the ages of 25 and 35 years old throughout the country, and we're looking for applicants not only from urban centers but from rural South Africa as well. You have to have demonstrated some level of leadership and accomplishment in either business, civil society, or in governance.
And what does it entail once they get to the United States? What do they learn?
Once they once they arrive in the States, they go into their spheres, into their cones, and they go to universities where they get to do a deeper study of their areas of innovation. They partner with American institutions and again with young Africans from throughout the continent, work in best practices, and then they go out into the field and they visit institutions that are similar to the kind of efforts that they're trying to lift up here in South Africa, whether it's in energy or in conservation, or if they are entrepreneurs who are starting new enterprises. They meet with the best minds there, and they bring those practices back to their home countries.
And the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief is still alive and kicking with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation pitching in as well. So you're increasing support now? Or
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you asked about that, Tim. And the President, President Obama, Secretary Kerry, and our National Security Advisor, Susan Rice, all spoke to this during the recent UN General Assembly and in the conversation that I was privileged to join with Secretary Kerry and your Minister Mashabani in our strategic dialogue some weeks back. The PEPFAR has gone well. We've invested close to $5 billion in the last 10 years here in South Africa. We've had tremendous results, but we all know, Tim, that we can't just continue to put more and more South Africans on antiretrovirals. There are 3 million on now, over 6 million infected. We've created a program called the DREAMS Initiative, which is targeted at young women in this country who regrettably carry a much higher prevalence rate than young men do, 8 times the prevalence rate of young men. And we've created this initiative to really focus in areas of high prevalence where young women can get the education they need, the economic development that they need, the psychosocial support that they need as well, to turn the tide on this horrific disease, and we're determined that we're going to have success.
Nike Foundation is part of the whole thing, and there's something called girl-centric strategies. What exactly would those be?
Well, we all know that if a young girl has an opportunity for a real education, if a young girl has opportunity for real work, and if a young girl receives the information that she needs about child rearing, that communities are transformed, cities are transformed, and countries are transformed. So we are focusing an additional close to $70 million US, that's about $1 billion additional rand, on programs in high prevalence areas. And if you look at the epidemiology, Tim, you'll see that the highest rates of HIV in the country, of course, are in Gauteng and in KZN, and working with your energetic Minister of Health, Minister Aaron Matsaledi. We're looking at the science. We're looking at the big data that's been accumulated by researchers here in your finest universities, and we're going down into those precincts, working with young women, giving them the tools that they need to turn the tide. There's going to be a major launch soon with quantifiable and transparent goals, and we will move towards an HIV-free generation.
And just to go back to the earlier interview and the questions I asked about the Young African Leaders Initiative, I'm sure there are many who'd like to be connected and be part of this program. Where do they go, you said?
They go to the website, youngafricanleaders.state.gov, youngafricanleaders.state.gov. There's a downloadable application, and they got to come in and compete with the very best in this country, and if they get in, they're going to have an opportunity to change the world.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Patrick Gaspard, for joining us again and paying us a visit.
I'll see you after the rugby match on Wednesday when we win.
And I know we still have the outstanding appointment.
Yes, sir.
And years are getting on, and this is now coming to the end of the Obama administration, so, we don't have all the time in the world anymore.
You just know I'm an expensive date, Tim, but I'm ready for our dinner.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's Ambassador Patrick Gaspard talking to us. We will be